Hey everybody, it's Monday, April 1st, and I've been filming for the past 2 hours. I know. It's like I'm a YouTuber or something. What is this insanity? So if I'm a little burnt out in this update, it's because I've been talking to this camera for 2 hours and I'm kind of sick of it. But fortunately, I don't have a huge amount to update you guys on. I am halfway through The Good Neighbor and I'm enjoying it quite a bit, but it's a little nerve-wracking to go through because Fred Rogers is just on such a pedestal for me, and anytime something comes up in the book that's even slightly scandalous about him, I'm just my little 4-year-old heart can't take it. I also read through book 4 of Lamort the Author last night, and this continues to be something that I take breaks in between reading, but when I do read it, I read it super fast. Because I'm not worried as much about retention in this one. I'm just kind of trying to get as much of a foundation in the source material as quickly as possible so I can go and read a lot of the other stuff. And I do plan on revisiting this in the future or maybe looking at different translations because I know there are different translations of this text that makes it a little bit more readable. It's definitely kind of an archaic text and not the most gripping thing to read. There's definitely parts of it and I'm just oh wow, this is real. This is real skimmable. This is some skimmable content. But I am still enjoying that and I want that foundation so bad. That was the first thing that when I decided I really wanted to explore what all was available in Arthurian legend, I was just I need to try to read that first and just have that foundation going forward because that was super important to me. But yeah, that's the only progress that's been made since I wrapped last week's vlog yesterday, so I'm gonna stop filming now because I'm super tired of talking to a camera. Hey everybody, it is Wednesday, April 3rd, and if you remember a vlog or two back, I had mentioned the fact that I had started trying to walk more and work on getting a little bit more in shape because I am severely out of shape. Well, earlier today I walked 2 miles and I am still severely out of shape. I was okay immediately after, but I just had a hard crash, a really hard crash. And I need to get over it because I got stuff to do. I haven't been able to do as much reading as I thought I was going to since the last check-in. Last night I ended up spending some time visiting with my roommate because she had the night off. And then today I had to edit stuff. So all I've really accomplished is I finished The Good Neighbor. And that's just... That was an emotional ride. I do think my favorite part of it is the behind the scenes of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, especially when they talked about the care that went into every dialogue choice and how careful they were about certain words and things like that. The one instance that really sticks out in my mind is there's a story, and I can't remember all the circumstances, but there was a story about one of the other actors telling I think one of the puppets maybe not to cry, and Fred was just no, cut it there. We can't say don't cry because that's just not a message that I want to present to children. And so there was a lot of details and a lot of thought into every scene. And yeah, it was really interesting to go through all of the behind the scenes stuff. And then the ending was just... It was an emotional thing. Other than that, I think I've read 2 more books from Lamort the Author, which is awesome. I'm really happy about that. I'm actually I think neck and neck with the ones in Future King right now, which I haven't picked up in a while. I need to because it's due in a week. I keep finding myself in this position where I'm not quite sure what book to read. I'm in the middle of too many books at once, and it's going to get even worse because the audiobook that I've had on hold for 2 months finally came to me, and I have The Final Empire available to me, and I want to listen to it, and I need to figure out a way to juggle all of this ridiculousness that I'm trying to accomplish. I actually, no lie, even thought about seeing if I could do the Owls Readathon, the OWLS, whatever that stands for, Readathon. That Book Roast, is that her name? I'm so sorry. But anyway, there's a readathon that I think is in its second year that's kind of cool because it like builds off of each other. It's all very Harry Potter themed, and it's not, the theming isn't super enticing to me, but I think it's cool because what you do in this readathon affects what you do in a readathon later in the year, and I thought that that sounded really cool to me. But it's already started, and I've got way too much to read. So just, Megan, quit. Just stop it, Megan. But yeah, I am going to maybe get off of this couch. I need to vacuum. I'm not going to vacuum, but I might get off of the couch. Hey, everybody. It is Thursday the 4th. Yeah, I feel like it's a solid 4th. Feels like a 4th to me. So I walked another 2 miles today. I thought I was going to get away with not having to do it, because I kind of made a deal with myself that if it was raining when I got off of work, I wouldn't go to the park and walk, because obviously rain wouldn't be pleasant. And it rained like all day, and then it wasn't raining when I got off of work. So I went and walked. I'm still kind of in the energized phase from the walk. Not completely crashed yet, but I feel it coming, so I thought I'd do my check-in now. Hi Kitty. So just to keep you guys up to date on the Once and Future King, I am on page 385, and yeah, I still have quite a ways to go in that. The problem is that I'm not reading much during the day. I'm listening to audiobooks during the day because I'm trying to get other stuff done, like yard work and work and working out and all of, well, things that have work in the name of it. And I just haven't really been reading unless it's the very, very end of the day, right before I go to bed. So, like, I've been reading this 10 pages at a time before I pass out. But I did get a pretty hefty, like, 40-page chunk done last night. I also started this bad boy, and, guys, I'm not sure if you realize this, but I think Brandon Sanderson may have a future in fantasy writing. Just gonna throw that out there. Toothless, you're ruining my joke. The amount of world building that is in the prologue alone, I mean, he has more world building in his prologue than some people have in their books. This is fantastic. I'm on page 160, and I listened to this the entire time that I was walking earlier and just having a great time with it, even though it was pretty much just like a group of guys sitting around and making a plan. But it was such a well done scene of just a group of guys sitting around and making a plan that I didn't care the fact that it was like, it took forever to get through that scene. And I was just like, aw, it's over when it got to the end. There were so many little, like, just dialogue moments that, it's good. It's good. Brandon Sanderson is good, guys. Who knew? But yeah, I've already got, like, my place in line for the second audiobook. And they're read by Michael Kramer, who does the other series that I'm working my way through, Wheel of Time, that one. I'm really tired, guys. Walking takes a lot of energy. Hey, everybody, it's Friday, and I was gonna edit tonight, but it is already almost 9 o'clock, and literally, like, my evening has just been full of other stuff that took priority over editing. I've been trying to organize some stuff because I'm apparently now in charge of a food pantry on top of everything else I have going on in my life. So it turns out that takes a whole lot of coordination that I had not really prepared for. It was kind of a spur of the moment decision. So yeah, instead of editing, I was on the phone a whole lot. And now it's almost 9, so I don't think I'm going to edit tonight. What I do think I am going to do is I'm going to soak in the bathtub for a little bit and do some reading. And I wasn't going to bring this book up again until I was finished, but I think I'm going to finish it in the tub, and that is Sabriel. I only have 30 pages left in this very short, easy read that's taken me like over a month to get through. And technically, I guess I read it twice, because I listened to the audiobook and I got almost all the way to the end, and then I decided that I just needed to pick it up physically and see if that helps me read it, because I wasn't really like following it in the audiobook. And I can see why, when reading it, why I wasn't following it in the audiobook, because there's some pretty like weird progression through the story. At least I felt like it was weird. And so I have a lot to say about this book, a lot of reasonings for why it's not my favorite, even though there's some aspects to it that I think are really cool. But I'm going to save that because I want to finish it, so I have all of that, like, fully formed in my mind. I do plan on picking up the second one. I already own it. And the third one, and the continuation. I think it was originally just a trilogy, and then they came out with more. So I have 4 of these books, and it really upset me when I started reading this, and I just wasn't that into it. I was so sure I was going to be into it, but there's just something about it. But what I definitely am into is Mistborn, because I am almost, I'd say I'm over 2/3 of the way through it now. And this is great. Like, I knew it would be great. I knew it would be fantastic. But it's still, like, I had no idea how fantastic it was going to be. The characters are great. The world building is amazing. The magic system is just mwah. Everything about it is so good. The emotional investment that I've had, there's been times where I was on my walk. I walked again today, guys. Aren't you proud of me? I did another 2 miles today. That's 3 days in a row that I've done 2-mile walks. But anyway, during my walk earlier, I was just walking out in the park, and I was just like, what are you doing, Vin? Why are you doing this, Vin? Fortunately, there was nobody immediately around me, but I might have gotten some looks if there were. But you know it's a good book when you start yelling at the characters. That's my mark of a truly good book, when I'm just like, so what are these characters doing? Why are they being so dumb right now? And Vin had a moment where she was just being real dumb. I love her, by the way. She is amazing. And she's kind of tomboy and kind of masculine, but then, like, she kind of blends and becomes more feminine as it goes on, and it's such an interesting balance. And it really, like, plays with the idea of gender roles and how that is a part of this world. And oh my god, I love and appreciate the fact that she is, like, a fighter. She is a warrior chick, but she has, like, strict limitations. Like, she's just like, yeah, I'm totally someone who will fight you, but I'm not an idiot, and I'm not gonna go and fight these guys that are clearly able to outmatch me in every way. And I love that. I love that she has limitations. Like, she has physical limitations, and she's just like, yeah, turns out, can't fight just like, 3 buff dudes. They would beat me. That's a thing that would happen. And there's definitely an interesting juxtaposition throughout the story between her feminine side and her masculine side, and the balance that she's trying to find, and how she's kind of learning and discovering stuff about herself as she's embracing more and more of her femininity, because she's grown up in a circumstance where she was, like, told not to embrace her female side because of the risks involved in that. And now that she's embracing that more and more, and that's actually making her stronger in certain ways, and it's just, it's so good. I also really like the philosophical elements that are blending into it more and more. There's, like, some really interesting things, like philosophical discussions going on about this world that Sanderson has created, and that is so fascinating to me. Like, I'm so in it. Like, I'm so in this world, and I'm really, like, the idea of the inequality that's going on, and the better understanding of what that really means, and what differences there are, and what similarities there are between these two groups of people. It's just, hey, I think I like Brandon Sanderson. Yeah, I think I'm okay with the fact that I bought, like, 8 of his books without reading it. It didn't work out so much for this one, but it worked out with Brandon Sanderson. Okay, we're coming to you post-bath. So here's my thoughts on Sabriel now that I've finished it. I think the world building and magic system are actually both pretty good. I never connected with any of the characters. In fact, I would say that there are a few characters that I found really interesting, and they're barely in the book. And then the ones that I just couldn't care less about were in the book a whole lot. So that was unfortunate. Also, like, the pacing of the story and specifically the writing style, which I know I've read at least one other Garth Nix book, and I don't remember disliking it. I don't remember what I read, but I don't remember disliking it, so I don't know if there's something specific about this series and the way he's doing it. I don't know. There's just something about the writing style that I do not care for, and it's mostly to do with the fact that I feel like there's a lot of wasted time. There's a lot of scene setting. There's a lot of little details. I just think there was a lot of things that were interesting about this world and the concepts that went behind the magic system and the roles that these characters played that weren't explored, whereas there was a lot of stuff described. And I think the thing that really frustrated me is there was times where they would, like, the story would take forever to explain the setting that they were in, and they would stay in that setting for like a few pages, and then they were done. Because it's very much like a traveling story, so like you get to a new destination, and it spends a long time describing everything about that destination, and then you get a couple pages of dialogue, and then you move on from that destination. And I felt like that happened again and again and again, and it just, I didn't see the point in it. So I think that's part of the reason that it took me a long time to get through, because I felt like a lot of the stuff in this book I didn't care about. Like, I didn't care about the journey. And I really should care about the journey, but I thought that it was so lackluster in its development, like the relationship development, the character development, all of that stuff just didn't really mesh with my tastes. And while I think that the world is fascinating, and while I think there's a lot of potential in what was established in this book, unless it like really shifts on how it approaches its characters and their arcs and those like really emotional developments, I just don't see myself going on with this series. I'm gonna try to start the second one in the next little bit, and I'm just gonna sit down and read a little bit of it. I'll probably give it, let's say I'll give it 100 pages. If I'm not into it after 100 pages, I just don't think this is the series for me. But there's just something so underwhelming about the characters and the story. I mean, it's a fascinating world, and it's an interesting magic system, and the concepts are all good, but none of the focus is in the right place for my personal taste. Like, everything is just all about scene setting and like just kind of rapid fire progressing these characters to the next step without really ever feeling like it took the time to earn that next step. And that was a big deal breaker for me. Like, I don't feel like where these characters ended up made sense to me. I don't know. There was a lot about this book that I just didn't mesh well with me, and I can't really explain all of the things that bothered me without getting into some major spoiler territory. But I think the example that I used in a previous vlog sums it up the best, in the way that there is a moment where your main character, Sabriel, does something, and then the consequences of that decision are so dramatic, like they're so dire. And she spends a single paragraph reflecting on the fact that she just made this decision and all of the potential damage that that decision did. And then they immediately move on from that. A single paragraph is spent on that. They immediately move on from that, and then proceed to spend like 3 pages describing her outfit. I just don't get it. I don't get how you can have some really like deep guttural emotional stuff going on and give it a single paragraph, and then you can spend so much time just describing minute details. I don't like it. Hey everybody, I'm trying to get the willpower to go over to my computer and start doing some editing. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this vlog because, yeah, I just have a lot of editing to get done, and I need to focus on that tomorrow, and I have some other stuff that's gonna conflict. So, we're gonna wrap this one up. I really haven't done much reading since the last check-in. I read a little smidgen of The Once and Future King while I was working outside in the yard whenever I had a chance to sit down, but I kept finding things to do. I was thinking while I was burning some brush that I might be able to sit down and read, but I ended up like mowing and cleaning up and just doing a bunch of stuff. So now I'm really tired, but the yard looks pretty good, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to read some. Anyway, this was kind of a pointless check-in, but I just felt like I needed to do something to say, hey, we've reached the end of the vlog, and hey, we've reached the end of the vlog, and you'll see me in the next one.